Hello, viewers and fans of the Franchise Premier League. We are back at it, Season 3, first week of the official playoffs after we finished relegations last week. It's Kevin Dunk, True, and Pop-Tart taking you through the first game between the Astronauts and the Flannel Banana Bandits. As we get into pretty standard lanes here, we're going to have to see which team will come out on top in this fearless best of 5. Minions arrived to lane way faster now, so True. Yeah, any thoughts before the action gets started?
Well, I mean, there is a slight thing to say, and Riot did do a dev post today where they said, in spite of the Mitsu.
Oh, wait. Yeah, level 1 Bush gets the stun against the wall, but now the turnaround with Balmer with the minigun actually firing back, doing some decent damage. Potion already popped by the Bard, so a good look from Jeff and VGF Royal. Sorry, that's a lot of syllables. I'm just gonna call them Royal from now on. But Royal, can't really trade back effectively, as that level 1 Sivir. But potions popped on both sides, a bit volatile starting at that level 1.
Yeah, and they're just leveraging the fact that it's kind of surprising to see, just sitting in the tribe rush, just because, as you said, the minions get to lane a little bit faster. So doing a little bit of level 1 shenanigans isn't as quite as prevalent anymore. But we can see that Balmer is hitting that early level 2 because your Jinx are able to push in the wave a bit better than the Sivir very early on. Yeah, they're able to push forward. They get a little bit more harassed down, but that electrocute proc from Jellybean, I believe the name is actually I'm the Jeff, right? Yeah. Does work out pretty well, but at parity otherwise.
Yep, at parity, and I'm kind of surprised that Mordekaiser went jungle while the Zahen went top, because Zahen has a pretty weak matchup, I think, in the early game against stuff that's strong early, like the Renekton, and I think Mordekaiser is just like a decent matchup into that. I think jungle Zahen is just, you're just allowed to get to those item power spikes faster without having to deal with a lane opponent, and we can already see that in the top side where the Zahen's losing out in farm, in push, and Rawnor is going to get, I think, an early either recall or a proxy here, just pressuring heavily. Yeah, that's a full wave cleared out from the proxy.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about with the Renekton's early game power. And as you said, Zahen takes a little bit of time to get going. Like, when he's going and when he's there, the champion is very, very difficult and very annoying to deal with. But for the time being, yes, Renekton, you can kind of leverage your early game power, leverage the fact that you're also manaless, kind of just bully the Zahen out. But Psycho Ghost getting a little bit aggressive here. It doesn't land the knockup.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with that early proxy means you do take a lot of damage, but now I fear nobody getting spotted on this Scuttle Crab in the bottom lane. But yeah, just going to be a trade of Scuttle's top for bot side, but pretty quick clear from both junglers, and it looks like that both lanes are happy to farm. I think both Jinx and Sivir aren't that potential for a kill. They don't have high potential for a kill until much later in the game.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, the junglers were kind of mirroring each other, right? They're on opposite sides of the map. They're all evened up. And mid lane, once again, at parity, as we discussed. Really, the only differences we're seeing in the game thus far is just that top lane with Raynor having a little bit easier time as Renekton. But also down here in bottom lane, Royal's eating a ton of damage from these rockets.
Oh, Raynor getting a nice stun there, but I think he might have spotted Mordekaiser on the ward, so he's starting to back off. Yeah, I think it was spotted on that top side Scuttle, but now the damage on the bot side, the stun into the wall. Royal taken very low, and Rawnor doesn't choose to flash until later.
Oh, he got pulled back in.
That means he gets caught by the Death's Grasp for what is an early solo kill, but no, in this top middle lane, also Zelda guy picking that solo kill against a foe. So kills traded both in the top and mid lane. Bottom lane almost happening as well. Oh, Royal blocks it with the spell shield, but now the magical journey gets the stun onto Balmer, who flashes late, and it gets stunned anyway. Balmer going down to Ingrotus's Nocturne. VGF Royal looking for the kill back, almost dies to the Emilio, but those little fire kicks are not going to be enough, as it's going to be 2 kills for the Nocturne in the bot side off of a beautiful magical journey, sending the bottom lane of the Astronauts straight to the dumpster.
Yeah, and it's kind of a tale as old as time, right? As a bottom lane, you see the enemy ADC, they're just a hair away from death. So you're just like, okay, we can stick around, maybe we can look for a cheeky kill. And then the enemy jungler comes along and gets a double kill. You get absolutely nothing out of it, and you're kind of devastated. The other thing on top of that is that Royal is able to get, that assist gold, but also can continue stacking up the cull, play things relatively safe for that first 100 CS. And when all is said and done, those kills do translate to a very slight lead in favor of Banana Bandits. You can see them actually positioning quite aggressively, looking for this first dragon potentially.
Yep. First dragon already, as we see here. I think they're going to back off of it. Both the junglers are starting to walk away. So far, it's pretty chill. Yeah, okay, back to normal laning. Yeah, any thoughts about what these teams need to do? I mean, looks like the Banana Bandits are off to a pretty great start.
Yeah, I mean, for both teams, their jungler has gotten an early kill, which is great to have. I fear nobody. I think both of them just want to push it to 6 as fast as they can. Obviously, when Nocturne gets Paranoia available, you'll just unlock access to the map so much better. And then with Mordekaiser, you're just able to just duel someone so much stronger. And we're really seeing that a lot more bot lane focus from both of these junglers. I fear nobody. Unable to even force a summoner spell, but still showing presence.
Yeah, absolutely. Showing presence and on the top side, Ronor, not that big of a lead, but now Zelda guy making the roam here, gets caught in the death roam. The flash forward from I Fear Nobody is on top of the Hui. Can he survive long enough to get out? Still has the flash, throws out the Spiraling Despair, but it's going to go down to the Obliterate. So that's just going to be a freebie. The Hui got a little bit too close to the Mordekaiser and goes down in what was pretty much a 1v1 straight up. Zelda guy wasn't able to flash out, but now Angrotis didn't get that second crab. Is level 5 only. Throws out the Duskbringer for some damage. Is going to get dragged around, though. Gets the Fear Tether, has to flash across the wall as Defoe had enough damage to make the Nocturne a bit scared. So with that bottom lane scrap near this river, it's going to be the Astronauts taking an early lead on the Dragons.
Yeah, and the real difference maker there is what we were talking about, right? The Mordekaiser's able to hit 6 before the Nocturne can, and so they're able to play more aggressively. Whoa!
Too close, I think. They're level 4 Bard solo, but now the ultimate flying in actually doesn't get the steal, but they do get the kill on the Mordekaiser is taken low. Royal trying to fight this in a 1v3 as we see Zelda guy finally responds and makes it back. They get the kill with the Severing Bolt on the Milio, but Balmer is sped up by the Milio. As we see here, just nice barrier and spell shield to block that zap, the stun into the wall, nice combo. Defoe flashes away, can Zelda guy secure it? No, he has to flash away from Balmer on the drinks, but still not level 6 yet. Magical Journey to catch the Zyra, gets rooted up, but I don't think Defoe has the damage. The flash forward, Zelda guy secures it with the help of Royal and Jeff, as Balmer's the only one left alive on their team. So does Dragon go over to the Astronauts, but all the cleanup kills pretty much in favor of the Bandits as they walk away with that one with a little bit more gold in their pockets.
Yeah, and coming away with the fight win, I think you could argue...
Oh my god, Super Mega Death Rocket just barely gets blocked by the Spell Shield. Nice timing on that one from Royal. Zelda guy now throwing out some poke. Okay, I think the play has stopped, but good reaction time on that from the Sivir. I think they might have actually died to that if they did not Spell Shield.
Yeah, I think it would have been quite close, so the Spell Shield definitely making pretty big impact right there. But talking about the fight win, I think getting those 3 kills in terms of early impact probably a bit more meaningful than getting the single stack of Chemdrake. Like, if you can turn that single stack into, let's say 4 uncontested stacks overall, obviously that's really great to have super fast. But the early gold is nice to have too, and we're seeing across both of these teams, the junglers are getting
fight over here. Psycho Ghost immediately flashed out to get out of the fear as we see members moving up. It is the Milio getting here, but neither support is level 6, but now I Fear Nobody making it so it's a 4v3. I think that means both teams are backing away from the Grubs as we see the Sivir did move up, but is not choosing to push the wave. Zelda guy doesn't have TP to make it to the fight early, so I think this is just going to be the Astronauts securing this one because the Banana Bandits just don't have enough members unless...
And they're still sticking around.
Walking up, and Grotus popping the Spell Shield early, but Psycho Ghost just making space. This is just a, good protection from the side of the Astronauts to keep the Mordekaiser safe because... Like I said, I mean, okay, wait, sorry, I thought I saw something on the screen, but Defoe has, just that priority because the Hui had to recall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that much of a loss, losing out on the Grubs here. Like, Grubs, they don't offer a massive advantage, at least not in the same way that they used to in the previous season. It's nice to have, but in theory, you should be able to get more off of just, having people assigned to pushing your lanes out, rather than looking to commit for a fight towards the Grubs. Ultimately, though, it is... Oh, I think it's fine. Yeah, they're fine. Ultimately, yeah, it's okay to give up the grubs if you're able to push the lanes out. That's not exactly what
Wait.
happens. Raynor's in trouble.
Right, Raynor's committing to this, and I fear nobody's right there. Has the death round, gonna try to drag them in. They hit it. Obliterate does damage, but the healing from the Kolomik. Raynor flashes over the wall, and Angrotus is gonna secure it. But the cultivation of War Stacks keeps the Zahen alive for now
Oh,
with
no.
that revive. But Raynor is taken very low, is gonna go down to the Zahen, who had full stacks. But now Zelda guy's trying to make the roam, gets the gets the drag back into the Molten Fissure, and Angrotus is just gonna rip him to pieces with the Umbral Blades. So it's going to be a trade 1-for-1 in the top side because Zelda guy makes it there faster with the Ghost, but is going to lose, I think, likely some plates and some minions here, unless they want to dive Psycho Ghost. He is very low. The eyeball gets the root, and Grotus now hitting him, but actually can't get the Spiraling Despair. Just a miss on that, a bit mistimed by Zelda guy. I don't think they can secure the kill on the Zahen unless he, monstrously overstays. So the Nocturne's going to back, and the Hui is just going to catch that wave and move it back mid. Actually, Defoe didn't hard shove the wave, so it's going to. I think he's just going to lose the cannon, and that's about it.
He got 1 plate. The plate's 1 for 5.
Okay, nice. Money for Defoe.
Yeah. So it's not too bad. No. Oh, wait, bot lane? No, never mind. I thought something was happening. I thought Balmer and Mitsu were just going to run straight at Royal, which is what they've been doing for the most part. The other thing that is worth talking about, Royal is about to finish up the cull, so you're going to get a nice little injection of gold off of that. Despite the action, though, not a huge lead to be had across either of these teams. In fact, you can see just shy of a 1k lead in the favor of Banana Bandits. And I think a lot of that is oriented because of that Mordekaiser just being so active and especially present in towards the top lane. Raynor, we were talking about like top laners that feel bad when you don't get an early lead. I think Renekton does kind of fall into that category. I fear nobody. No, there's not a fight to be had. I was gonna say there's no way he's gonna commit for this, right? Doesn't have Death Realm available.
Yeah, and I think actually Tempered Fate hits onto the Zyra, but that's only one target. Can Zelda guy get the follow-up? A nice stun from that Cosmic Binding, but now we see the engage. The Sivir is here before the Jinx, as Angrotus is taken very low, gets locked in the Death Realm, but Defoe is going to go down to the Sivir. Super Mega Death Rocket does big damage, as I fear nobody chasing Angrotus after he flashed away. It's going to be a shutdown over to the Mordekaiser now in a 1v3. Zelda guy is trying to kite. Royal gets hit with the
Jinx.
Slow down, and now the Jinx is finally here for the party. Can they get the kills to get excited? Zelda guy finally gets the kill with the Fireball. Royal escapes with the use of the barrier and the kiting from the Call of the Hunt, but now they're getting chased down. The Zap hits. Mitsu hit the Fireball as well, but it's not going to do enough as Royal gets the walkout supported by Zelda guy. So it's in the end, it's a 2-for-1 in that bottom river. They get the Zyra, they get the Mordekaiser for just the Nocturne because the Sivir was there for the fight earlier.
Yeah, and you do see that Royal did finally finish up the call. And the other thing that's worth talking about is that's also just indicative of, hey, Jinx still needs time to scale. Like, when Balmer shows up, if that's a later game Jinx, then the Super Mega Death Rocket probably does way more damage. The Jinx probably able to gap close and be more relevant, and that fight might look completely different, 15 minutes from now. But because it's so early on in the game, Balmer's not really able to leverage much of Jinx's power. Meanwhile, as you were talking about Royal, having that on the hunt, just being able to maneuver around, able to stay alive, does spell out a pretty decent win for the side of Banana Bandits. Up there in top lane, Raynor and Psycho Ghost still duking it out, but the next dragon going to make its way over into Banana Bandits' pockets.
Yep. Yeah, like you said, Raynor just can't really find much on this Renekton. Doesn't feel good to be behind. Only about a wave up, so not a huge lead. I mean, if Raynor wants to go for the solo kill, Psycho Ghost does have the bone plating, is stacking up on them. Raynor just doesn't have, I think, want to commit, knowing that Grim Deliverance can give that big heal. I think he'd have to ignite very early for the secure on that. But looking at this mid-game team fight, I mean, Hui is in a massive position at 5 kills, already has the Ludens completed, but now we see the nice stun into the wall, into the Paranoia. Can Mitsu get out of here? Gets feared. No, it's going to be the laser from the Hui, who throws up the Spiraling Despair now, and Grotus gets hit with his own Tempered Fate as I Fear Nobody locks him into the Death Realm. Or sure, they weren't even in the Death Realm. They're just bonking him over the head as Balmer is going to pick that one up with the rockets over the wall. So it's going to be a 1-for-1 trait support for the jungler. I mean, there's no significant jungle objective up right now, so I don't think there's going to be much punish after that from the astronauts, but Mitsu managed to stall so long that they get the kill back on the Nocturne, who's, worth a bit more gold than XP.
Yeah, that's certainly true. I think the other thing that's worth talking about for both of these teams is Obviously, Balmer getting that second kill as a Jinx feels really, really good. You want that Jinx accelerated as much as possible. But for the other side, what you were talking about, Zelda guy on this way here, now 6-1-1, has a fully stacked Dark Seal. And, if things keep going well, that should transition quite nicely into a Medjai's. And way that's snowballing is extremely hard to deal with, especially because they gave the guy, I believe they gave him a buff quite recently on the most recent patch. So if Zelda guy is just able to continue leveraging that, that snowball and really get it out of control, then we might have that bit of a nightmare situation for the side of Astronauts. Like, how do you get onto the way outside of just throwing Mordekaiser ult down on him? Because otherwise, it could be really dicey for them. Like, just looking at Hui's AP, 15 minutes, 16 minutes into the game, already 216, feels really good if you're in Zelda guy's position.
Ranor and Psycho Ghost just scrapping in the top lane, but Psycho Ghost is starting to win. Hits Ignite, hits the Grim Deliverance, and now I Fear Nobody is here for the dive. Rainor's actually going to stay, dodges the pullback, gets hit with the Q, but barely survives, pops the Dominus. Will they actually choose to fight this? I think they're staying, but Paranoia in the mid lane. A nice Tempered Fate under the turret means they don't take aggro, and it's just going to be a freebie for Angrotus. Nice collaboration from the Bard and the Nocturne to find that kill, but in the top side, it is the Herald used. It is Psycho Ghost just going to get so many plates. I Fear Nobody just further accelerated, and then Renekton, you have to feel, is starting to fall off at this point, but now the collapse on the top side. Jeff is here. I mean, I Fear Nobody has the Death Realm that could pop it. The Smite goes down on the Herald, and Grotus is trying to chase Psycho Ghost, but gets locked in the Death Realm, and then Grotus just getting bonked here. The Obliterate does so much damage. I Fear Nobody picks up the solo kill in the Realm. Raynor now in a 1v2 as the Bard jumps out with the magical journey.
No.
They can't get to the portal as Ranor just gets blasted across the wall, but now Zelda guy in a 1v1 against this Milio hits the Spiraling Despair. Oh, Fireball just barely short as the TP comes in to reinforce. Defoe getting here to stop the dive as we see, taking a ton of damage from that Severing Bolts. But Zelda guy forcing out, Mitsu and forcing the teleport as well. But on the top side, it is the Banana Bandits actually losing a lot there. Their top laner and their jungler going down. The 0-3 Renekton is not what you want to see out of this pick.
Yeah, it's just certainly hard to play around, wanting to even things out for Raynor at this point, just because, as we were talking about, Psycho Ghost on this Zahen, you're hitting the mid game, you're starting to hit your stride, and then this Mordekaiser, who's just been getting the most kills, the most gold into his pocket for his team.
Oh my god, Balmer's just blasting with the Cozy Campfire. Are they going to invest the super mega okay, they don't have the Death Rocket, but wow, Royal was on the punishing end of that trade and has to now back off because I Fear Nobody is here to secure the turret.
It's that Jinx Melio synergy, right? You're Jinx already having a naturally long auto range, especially with the rockets.
They really want to defend this turret as they dive on the Mordekaiser, who flashes out, and Grotus taken very low. Zelda guy is here though with the AoE. Grim Deliverance hits a massive amount of members as VGF Royal taken very low, and Grotus goes down to the rockets. Balmer picks that one up as Raynor is here. Tempered Fate misses, but now Raynor has the flank. Can they get close enough? Call of the Hunt is popped. Zelda guy getting a bit too close and now getting rocketed down. They're going to have to escape. They get hit with the Zap and Balmer flash the wall. Zelda guy throws up the Spiraling Despair. Psycho Ghost gets stunned up and Balmer can't really see anything. Big damage from the Hui's ultimate, but now, oh my god, the Grasping Roots gets everybody as Raynor is just going to get mowed down by the plant as the Crocodile dies. I mean, I think crocodiles eat meat, but I mean, this one would rather be a vegetarian because Defoe just ripped them apart as Defoe's taken very low by the Crushing Maw. As we see, Psycho Ghost took that portal to almost kill Jeff, and on the mid lane defense, it is going to be the Banana Bandits losing out on that. They try so hard to kill the Mordekaiser. I think they secured it, but in the end, they lose more members trying to commit for more kills, and that means they lose the second dragon.
Yeah, and I think the big issue that they run into here is kind of what we were talking about. In order for Astronauts to be successful, you need to see a gross overcommitment from Banana Bandits, and that's exactly what happened. As you said, they committed a lot to kill the Mordekaiser, but Balmer is able to stay relatively safe afterwards. They committed the Bard ult as well, but they don't catch anyone with it, but they still walk forward, which means that Balmer, as this Jinx, is able to just, hit for free. Yes, it's a lot more extended, as you would typically see from a normal Jinx, but with Melio there to just extend the auto range, make Balmer's life a lot easier, the fight just goes substantially in the favor of Astronauts, and they're actually coming away off of that with a gold lead, with an objective lead, and they should be feeling, increasingly comfortable as time goes on, just because, no one is focusing this Jinx super hard at the moment. I think that's the big key, so to speak, for Banana Bandits, because you just need to shut this ADC down. Like, yes, Mordekaiser is an important target too, but whoever you throw at him, he's going to just throw someone into the Death Realm, have a 1v1 for himself.
The guy
so
investing the ulti, crushing Maw does damage. Severing Bolt, is it going to hit? No. Psycho Ghost almost maybe would have died to that because he has no MR against this Hui, who is so strong. 2 items fully completed. Now Raynor looking for the stun onto the Zyra, pops the ultimate, but he doesn't see the Mordekaiser. Tempered Fate hits only the Zyra because I Fear Nobody locked the Renekton in the Death Realm, and this guy's going to get turned into another nice pair of shoes as I Fear Nobody goes down, but the Paranoia on the backside secures the kill on the Zyra. Now it's a 2v1 between the Mordekaiser against the Nocturne, but now it's a 3v1 as Royal makes it to the fight, and Grotus dodges the last Q but dies to the burn, as it's now I Fear Nobody trying to 2v1 against the Sivir Bard, who has to run away. The stun into the wall was a nice disengagement. Now Jellybean Jeff on the wrong side of this Mordekaiser's mace, getting run down with the help of the Emilio. And I mean, this Mordekaiser becomes such a big problem because the Renekton can't actually 1v1 him. Gets zapped, magical journey out, but I think this is just going to be collected by somebody. If not Balmer, then going to be the Mordekaiser. You don't want to give this over to the Jinx, but it does unfortunately go over. Balmer now on a killing spree. The strongest member of the Banana Bandits just was not there. Zelda guy is 1v1ing the Zahen in the other side, and I think he's the only one realistically who can kill this Mordekaiser.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point, right? Like, when all of your gold, or at least the vast majority of your gold, is just stuck in one lane, it's a lot harder to commit for a target. And, they initially try to just commit as much as possible for Defoe, and eventually, yes, you do get him, but that also just leaves that Mordekaiser completely untouched. And I don't think, at this point in time, that Banana Bandits have a composition without the way that you can deal with Mordekaiser. Like, you see the Leandries, you see the Gunblade as well, which is a lot of Omnivamp for the champion, as well as just being a lot of general damage.
Zelda guys, we see the Paranoia pop to disengage on the Bard. Zelda guy has the Paranoia, and I think Psycho Ghost doesn't want to fight into the Nocturne, but gets the pullback. Zelda guy investing the ultimate, but there's so much damage from this Hui. Shut down over to the Hui with the help of the Spiraling Despair. Nice combo from Zelda guy to not panic and just one-shot the Zahen with no magic resist. So in the side lane play, Hui wins out. Maybe, can be the hope for this team with that big injection of gold, securing that solo turret for themselves as well.
Yeah, and you saw some blue pings on towards Baron, like trying to maybe calling out, like, look, play his bot lane, maybe we can just force Baron. And considering the fact that Zelda guy doesn't have TP, maybe they could have felt comfortable doing it, but they just choose to call off on it for now. They're not going to worry too much about it, especially, I think, seeing that Hui isn't, forcing the push, so you don't have to commit Zyra's TP to answer it. They're just content with, letting things go a little bit more. Dragon is up in a minute, though. It's the next Mountain Drake of the game. That would put Astronauts on Soul Point, get them further towards that win condition of having Solar, maybe even just access to Elder. And right now, like, they might have a slight gold deficit off of the kill that Zelda guy got, but I do think as a squad of 4...
to get Zelda guy who has to flash out, can they survive against the Mordekaiser for long enough? They make this distance with the Fear. They have the movement speed. They get hit with the Obliterate, and they're going to go down to the Zyra, but now they have no carries as Angrotus is taken down low. VGF Royal has to flash out. Balmer flashes forward to secure the kill, to Tempered Fate to stun the Jinx, but the rocket still goes through, and Angrotus burning down to the burn. Defoe here with the plant, and again, it is, a story of the Mordekaiser taking over because that flash forward with the Death Realm, because Zelda guy stepped up just a bit too far and, burnt both sums and still didn't make it out alive. That means the team fight goes over to the Astronauts, and it's going to be the Baron as well.
Yeah, and, like, that's just the tragedy of it all, right? Like, no matter how strong this Hui is, there's nothing that can really keep you safe from a Flash Mordekaiser ultimate. And you saw Zelda guy just toss, like, literally everything to stop it from happening. Ends up actually surviving the duration of Mordekaiser ult, but lo and behold, the moment you come out of the Mord ult, there's Zyra, like, who casts her ultimate right at your feet. The Thorns just kill you anyways. So it's just devastating to be Zelda guy in that position. They do come away with the consolation prize. Oh no, right into the panel!
And now the 1v3 and Grotus is taken low, but the Fear hits at the perfect time. Zelda guy, again, the savior of the kingdom, getting the Fear to make sure the Zahen can't get another kill get enough stacks for the revive, as, Angrotus is limping out of there, that one, and the Crocodile Raynor finally picking up their first kill. Oh, contest over the blue, but hey, Zelda guy can even take that. Really, truly just the, hero of Hyrule, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I mean, like, certainly just trying to, like, make sure that nothing goes to hell, right? But that's just the problem, right? Like, if I Fear Nobody sees the angle every single time, he's going to toss himself straight in. Just make sure that the Hui is not relevant for at least 10 seconds in the fight, provided you survive, or you just kill him. And with Hui not being present for that duration of time, you have this Zehen that can not quite can force, but Zehen who can be quite tanky, deceptively so with the revive. Jinx, who is already at 3 items now, with being buffed up by Amelia to extend the range. It's really, really hard.
Spiraling Despair into the Fireball. Can this be enough damage?
A lot of damage.
Hits another Fireball. The passive stacks are good as Psycho Ghost is trying to kite around. They get the knock up. They get a little bit of healing, but Zelda guy just going to knock him down with the Stirring Lights and the auto. So nice job. 1v1 side lane kill there for the Hui. Did have to invest the ultimate, so we'll be a little bit weaker in the team fight. But, I mean, that is a bit of gold. And now Jinx alone in the side lane gets jumped on by the Paranoia. And Grotus gets rooted up by the Flame Chompers, though. They can't keep diving under turret. Super Mega Death Rocket misses. Ooh, Severing Bolt almost killed Palmer. Can they get the kill on this Jinx? Tempered Fate hits. I think this is just a tee up for Jellybean, who's going to get the nice Cosmic Binding for the kill secure. Very good side lane play from the side of Banana Bandits, but now the Astronauts are starting to collapse. Can they get any kills on this escape? As we see the water path getting thrown out by Zelda guy. The fear thrown out, the stun as well. Good disengage, and I think this is exactly what you want to play around. Banana Bandits have so much range, so much ability to keep their opponents at bay with the Hui Bard. That's exactly what you want to see. Just good use of the Nocturne as well to find value in that mid-late game with the ultimate on what was, a very untouchable Jinx in the team.
Yeah, and, quite ironically, right?
For this turret, but the wave is cleared out. Psycho Ghost hits the ultimate, the stun, not doing much as it gets buffered. Raynor popping the Dominus is trying to run away, gets stunned up again as Raynor's going to get the stun. Can they get the slice and dice out? I don't think they can, as Psycho Ghost has the help of Emilio. The flash out from Raynor. Is that the redemption? Okay, I thought that was the enemy redemption. Redemption to keep Raynor safe a little bit, so the flash ignite used for just Raynor's flash. I mean, it's a trade of some. The Super Mega Death Rocket is, oh my god! He's 1 HP. That boy is living on double-digit health. The Crocodile just going to go back to the swamp, barely living. But that's a Jinx ultimate used before what possibly could be another team fight.
Yeah, and I think genuinely the reason why Raynor survives
Paranoia cast again. True, sorry, gonna have to cut you off here as we see the 1v1 between the Mordekaiser and the Nocturne. He gets feared, and Grotus trying to kite away as the Death Realm was invested. He's likely, oh my god, he survives just barely, and now the damage is here as we see the, oh my god, Tempered Fate hitting only onto 1, keeps the Mordekaiser alive as there's so much healing from Emilio. Raynor trying to jump in with the stun, takes him low. Can they get the kill as oh my god, VGF Royal gets it.
Huge
now
Tempered Fate
hits 4 members, but I don't think it's going to be enough as Raynor's still slowed down and gonna go down. What was a crazy turn of events? It was actually the Zanya, is my mistake there, that was cast, and the Tempered Fate hits 4, but I mean, it doesn't really do that much of a disengage other than get Angrotus out. It is still the Jinx, full HP, the Zahen full HP, and it's going to be the Bard trying to solo defend while the Hui is on the side lane. It's going to be tier 2 tower going down in mid. Zelda guy looking for a kill here on the Zyra. Can they get it? They drop the spot. Despair, but the Severing Bolt also misses Defoe with the nice flash to keep himself alive, and Grotus trying to clear the wave with the Stride Breaker, and I mean, somehow, some way, they're doing it. He clears it, but Angrotus is taken very low by the Jinx. He gets the shield, he gets exhausted. Super Mega Death Rocket barely is not going to kill him as Balmer's just firing all the bullets into this Ghost, and Angrotus alive after clearing what was a very dangerous wave, and, somehow, someway, Banana Bandits hold on to their tier 3 turret.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tense situation. I'm talking about that fight towards the red buff of the side of Banana Bandits, and it looks initially like a little bit dicey. You just saw how dangerous that Mordekaiser is, but Angrotus able to survive by the skin of his teeth, and the re-engage happens. They're able to kill out I Fear Nobody, and they land a really huge Tempered Fate, but the problem with it is that even if you kill the Mordekaiser,
damage onto the Hui and the Bard, but now in the backline, the Paranoia cast, it's going to be a 3v1 against the Nocturne as the Hui flashes over the wall, drops the Spiraling Despair, but I think Angrotus is going to go down. The Rockets are too much, but on the backside, the Severing Bolt gets the kill on the Mordekaiser. The Tempered Fate hits too, but I don't think there's enough setup as the root goes out. The eyeball
There's
hits
root.
as we see a double kill. Oh my god, so much damage. Zelda guys playing out of their mind with the help of this bard. Now Raynor jumps forward, gets the stun on Defoe, who just melts instantly. The Grim Deliverance cast to get further distance away from the Crocodile, who's out for revenge. And that is such a huge team fight from the Banana Bandits, who take 3 and only lose their jungler as the dragon spawns. This could be Soul Point if they're going to secure it here.
Looks like they are going to commit Raynor for that fight, or for that Soul Point, in spite of not having Angrotus. Neither team has their jungle available, but it is going to be Banana Bandits to have the superior position towards it. And talking about that fight there in particular, it's hard for the side of Astronauts to navigate it, because you saw Mordekaiser go forward, does get the flash out from Zelda Guy, but Zelda Guy does get to safety, throws out the Spiraling Despair, as you said, and just able to get that one last Severing Ball to finish off the Mordekaiser, and then a huge Tempered Fate coming through from Bard to lock down that Jinx. And it was kind of just one thing after another. They get the Jinx, they're able to chase down Defoe's Zyra as well, and now the map completely under the control of Banana Bandits, for at least for now. And I think, if they're able to continue playing fights like that, especially with Hui, finally being involved, finally also able to stay alive, it's just so hard to deal with the guy, because you'd see that that's 17 stacks on the Medjais. That's a lot of movement speed, but even a ton more burst damage for Zelda Guy, and no one really has an answer for that. And I think that that's partially the issue of, the lack of engage that we were talking about with Astronauts headed into the game, headed during Champ Select. Like, if the Hui gets off the ground, and we were saying that Hui was going to be key in this game because he's your only real reliable source of magic damage, now Zelda Guy can just really in the driver's seat for his team.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to talk about how beautiful that combo was. Oh, wait, I got to stop myself there. As the Paranoia onto the side lane. The Stranglethorns are used. The Zanya's popped as well, but I think Angrotus is just going to clean this one up because there's no backup. The side lane just a bit too far up for Defoe as the Severing Bolt secures it. That's right before the Baron spawns as well, as now it's going to be a 4v5 approaching this Baron. The teleport is up for Defoe, but they're dead for a while. Oh, Tempered Fate onto just the Milio. I Fear Nobody trying to frontline as we see the Call of the Hunt popped. Zelda Guy trapped in the Death Realm, but he does have the the Spiraling Despair as they're trying to kite it out. I Fear Nobody actually used the Zanyas while in the Death Realm. Now Zelda Guy's trying to kite, but they're going to get caught by the Jinx, who blasts them apart. Huge shutdown for the Jinx, and now gets excited. It's just going to rocket down, and Grotus is going to die. And now on the hunt is Balmer, looking for Royal, who doesn't spell shield in time. Gonna get rocketed down by the 10,000 range with the Milio and burns to death. Raynor in the side lane is going to try to fight Psycho Ghost, but this is a losing fight for the rest of the team. It's only going to be Jellybean Jeff surviving there, as Hui walked up a bit too far, got caught in the Death Realm, and then the team just was not able to peel off
straight for the
Jinx.
throat.
Yeah, I think they're just going to
try to force the end.
There is about 20 seconds, and the Renekton can't TP back as he doesn't have it in front of the Zahan. I mean, he melts in front as we see the 2v1 on the other side. Raynor trying to fight the TP invested by Defoe, and I mean, even though the Zahan goes down, he has the revive. They take one fight, and they go for the kill. It's the Astronauts going to win Game 1 against Banana Bandits after what was a beautiful play from the side of I Fear Nobody and Balmer carrying those team fights. I mean, Zelda Guy tried their best but could not save the kingdom in this Game 1. Is going to have to look for, a run back in the Game 2 and onwards. The franchise Premier League fans, haters, anyone who's a fan of good League of Legends, is Game 2 of our second game of our fearless best of 5 between the Banana Bandits now on the blue side against the Astronauts. And I gotta stop myself here as Psycho Ghost already spinning to win on Raynor, getting a big chunk on them. And in the mid lane, there's already scrapping. I thought with the addition of the minions spawning so early. Oh wait, that is a greedy recall position. Raynor getting the cancel out, and now that's just going to be a decent healthy because Raynor's not going to have time to get back to lane with the health. So, I mean, I don't even have a chance to monologue, True, but we're going to jump straight into the action as people are trading already.
Yeah, I mean, set up between both of these teams. Oh, wait.
Double knock-up as well. I mean, Mitsu did miss the stretching strike, so Ash does have the prio on that. Balmer is really strong, though, on that misfortune early. I mean, if there's fighting everywhere, and we haven't even gotten to, the minions last hitting already.
I mean, the thing about Zac support, right? At least the number, the handful of times I have gotten to encounter it.
Oh, knock-up hits on the misfortune. Can they run her down? She has to burn the flash early. BGF Royal has the movement speed. but is going to choose to not keep going. So Balmer had to immediately flash, pop the potion already. So bot lane prio already in the hands of the Banana Bandits.
Yeah, and what I was going to say is, like post level 2 or by around really level 3, Zach is just going to start throwing himself in because you have Cell Division available, which means, and in theory, a lot of bot lane damage isn't going to be super high, at least really high enough that you might not kill those blobs very early on. So Zach just tries to throw himself in, be as disruptive as possible. But because of Jeff and Royal, really punishing and bullying Balmer there, forcing that flash out of that misfortune so early on, that does mean that Mitsu or Chime is going to be less enabled to be running forward because of how vulnerable that MF is. Now, they're in the mid lane, just a little bit of trading going on, nice bit of damage between both the Zelda guy and Defoe, but as I was saying, the setup between both of these teams looks, not surprising either way. You are going to see a little bit, I think, of aggression just towards top lane with Psycho Ghost because you have that Ignite available. You just want to get yourself the advantage, pressure the Poppy. But Raynor, Poppy gets pretty darn tanky, even with Garen having that innate armor shred on Judgment on his E. So, especially with the shield as well. Oh, see a little bit of trading now.
Yeah, like you said, I think it's just going to be a pretty wet noodle fight as long as Reno doesn't, massively mess up. And now we see the jump onto the Misfortune as VGF Royal actually walks out of the Elastic Slingshot, but they don't see the Wukong who's hiding down. Balmer is going to give their life for this. They pop the barrier, but they're going to go down. I Fear Nobody is in range. The Zac taking low, the flash out, the flash follow, but actually cancels the Nimbus Strike. The knockup is good. Can Jellybean Jeff do enough quarterback defense? I don't think they can, as VGF Royal is going to go down to one more auto. The turret was not close enough, so VGF Royal picks up first blood against the Misfortune, but is going to go down in the process. And now there's a gank on the top side. Psycho Ghost, are they going to get charged into? Flash, predict on the abduct. Doesn't even matter because Raynor gets the flash tackle into the wall. I think Psycho Ghost flashed at the last second there, but they didn't get it off. So it's going to be a successful gank for the Sylas, matching the bot side play from the Wukong.
Yeah, and you did see that I believe that Angerota stuck around a little while just to make sure the wave crashes in, and that's really rough for Psycho Ghost because you don't have TP available, so you have to walk all the way back, and that wave is crashing in, so you're going to lose a little bit on top of that. So top lane not going too hot for the side of gosh, I'm going to butcher this, but it's Astronauts. Yes, okay. Not going too hot for the side of Astronauts though. So thus far, they traded 1-for-1 in the bottom lane, but Balmer certainly not set up to have as a successful game this in the game number 2 here as opposed to game number 1. After dying that early on, and
oh wait,
here comes Zach.
He's taken very low as he's going to jump back out. VGF Royal hit with the stretching strikes, but the trade back is actually pretty good for the Ashe, who's just going to fire back on Balmer. The extended trades go in favor of the Ashe, and I think they just get run down. Balmer goes down to VGF Royal now, and Grotus is here for the gank. The Zac has the flash, hits it with the knockup though. A nice grand entrance is going to do it, forces the flash out of Mitsu, who did, I believe, have the Cell Division, but is going to invest the flash instead to stay alive. I think if they went into the passive, there would have been enough DPS to shred him down. So, I mean, 2v2 kill goes in the favor of the bot side for the Banana Bandits. So just a really nice play from them to know that MF is just weaker in those extended trades. You have the lethal tempo, you have, more items. You're going to take that fight 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, you have no summoners as well, and yes, Ashe doesn't have any summoners, but what I was kind of getting at, with this Zac support is like you're always trying to go in, but if your ADC is left completely vulnerable, then there's really not much that you can do because that Ashe, that Rakan, they're just going to force onto your ADC, and the most you can do is hope to disrupt them. But how are you going to disrupt the chase down when you already burned all your hard CC trying to go in? And it's like this horrible catch-22 is Zac, because you either sit back and you wait for absolutely nothing to happen, which favors the Ashe Rakan, or you go in and they hit your ADC, your immobile MF instead, which also makes you fall further behind. So Chime, Mitsu, not going to have that great of a time like this early on. The flash is almost up for Balmer again, finally, but I feel like a lot of the damage has already been done with that Ashe going up to 2-0 so early on.
Yeah, very early lead for the Ashe. And looking at the map state of everyone else, we didn't get a chance to talk about this, but very big freeze forces Psycho Ghost out, who chose not to crash it in, and now there's a giant wave from Raynor crashing into this Garen's turret, but that is like a 2.5 wave farm lead on top of the kill, and Garen's one of those champions that if you're behind against a tank, I don't think you have a chance to kill them. So Zelda guy, being very even against the Aurora as well. I think Aurora is another one of these champions that do need a substantial, amount of lead against their lane opponent to get things done. And I think the solo lanes of, the Banana Bandits are just in a good spot to not lose the game for their team, which is exactly what you need going to the late game with this comp.
Yeah, I mean, certainly right now the tide is in the favor of Banana Bandits. You're actually seeing, I fear nobody, as this Wukong showing up in his team's Tri-Brush, but oh wait. It's like
we see the engage go in, taken very low, but now the AST
huge charm.
I think Royal is going to go down still. So I Fear Nobody picks the first kill up. Balmer's taken low, but I think they're just going to donate it to him. Yes, nice job from them. So great level 6 timer from this Wukong to immediately get a gank. Means that the bot side of the Astronauts are just putting it back in a good spot. So now the gold is even on both sides. Just a great job on that timer.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good charm from Jeff. You actually saw it cancel the Nimbus strike, but the problem with it was that ultimately the Ashe doesn't have flash available. And this also is going to set up...
Oh my god, Grotus is going in on the Wukong. He pops the stolen Aurora ulti, and the laser from the other side is going to kill the Wukong, and then Grotus actually still goes down, but the Cell Division popped by this active foe trying to run out. He's getting chomped on by the dragon, and now big damage onto the blob. Zelda guy secures it with barely enough mana, but no, a nice grand entrance gets the knock up onto foe. Can they chase down for the kill? He pops the weirding to get out, but Zelda guy with the flash auto attack, triple kill for the hero of Hyrule again. Nice job on the Vel'Koz, who had the Dark Seal before that fight as well, so he's going to pick up 6 stacks on that cleanup for this, tentacle monster, and is going to be in a great position to carry in this mid-late game as that artillery champion with such a big, frontline defense. But now on the top side, Psycho Ghost taken very low. Raynor has the ultimate, has flash for the wall stun, but is not going to invest it here. I mean, just very dangerous, and I think Raynor is going to be in even more danger. They're going to flash. Oh, they actually flash away. Psycho Ghost, nice flash away from the Keeper's Verdict, and I think this is going to be a walk down from I Fear Nobody, who had the Ignite support, gets the crushing blow for the kill. So, the vision was there, but they couldn't get out fast enough. Raynor goes down to the gank from I Fear Nobody, who's, just what I think is a power farming jungler, is actually just on a gank spree with the Wukong.
Yeah, I mean, this is really back and forth between both teams, once again. And the dragon actually wasn't taken quite yet off of the back of those initial kills from Zelda guy. So it does look like that it's going to be Banana Bandits coming away with that first dragon. As you can see, Angrotus as well as Royal on it. And yes, they do get the Cloud Drake. But talking about it, it was like a really aggressive move from Angrotus to just go straight in, steal the Wukong ultimate. Oh, wait. Comes Chime, Mitsu.
Yeah, they're kind of deep in this, but they have Prio from the mid wave. Zelda guy's going to force the Zac out, who doesn't have the ultimate. The Let's Bounce not available here. So, I mean, on the other side, it's going to be I Fear Nobody taking their own camps. But now, oh my god, Lifeform Disintegration Ray invested on the Zac, who has to flash out. Key Engage tool now missing for Mitsu on the Zac support. But yeah, I mean, it's just going to be a trade vertical jungling on both sides. The Wukong stealing the camps on top, but now knock-up hits onto Mitsu. Can Angrotus get there with the Abscond Abduct? I don't think they're going to go for it, but they are forcing off this misfortune from the wave as VGF Royal is going to farm the plates.
Yeah, I mean, I think that with the situation down there on bot lane, like with Mitsu not having a solid
on the Poppy again, Cyclone invested. Wrangler gets a nice anger. Oh, sorry, Raynor getting a nice angle on the wall stun, and now the Demacian Justice invested, but now the turret was just so heated up. I Fear Nobody tanked a bit too hard there and is going to go down to that turret. Knock up hits on a Balmer, the Abscond Abduct into the Let's Bounce that is stolen. Bullet time channel, and Grotus taken very low, but the Ashe comes in for the cleanup. Between Worlds gets the blast down on Angrotus, but the weirding misses on Jeff, so he's going to survive. So it's just a trade, 1-for-1 on the bot side. They shut down Balmer further down, but they trade over Angrotus' life in return, who's now 0-2. But I mean, to set back this MF, who's already not having a great game, already down 3 waves of farm, multiple plates, and, likely going to be, surpassed in experience as well. It's really good for the bot side of Banana Bandits to set back Balmer, who had a great game in the last one.
Yes. Certainly, but you can see between both of these teams, they are just trading punch for punch across the map, right? You do see the astronauts playing more towards that top side, trying to get that Wukong fed, trying to get the gold in the pocket. A little bit of a misplay for I Fear Nobody to die to that super heated up turret. But, for as successful as they're being on top side, bot side is the exact opposite case, as you were referencing, with Balmer just eating so much pressure, so many ganks. And this MF is having a rough time of it. So yeah, both of these teams kind of splitting where their priority on the map is, with astronauts focusing more on Psycho Ghost and trying to keep this Poppy down, make the Poppy irrelevant. But then bottom lane just going so much better for Royal this time around. We were talking about after game number 1 that Royal just wasn't really able to do anything, but the Ashe certainly feeling a bit more enabled in this game. But because of that split priority on the map, both of these teams are just very close to one another.
Agreed. Oh, Zelda guy getting jumped on between worlds used. Sorry, across the veil is used for the stealth. And wow, Raynor taking a big chunk from Psycho Ghost, who's starting to scale quite hard with that judgment, with that armor shred at level 11 now. Could maybe look for the dive with the ignite. But yeah, like you said, they're trying to set this Poppy back behind, but I'd much rather have a useless Poppy than a useless MF. But now the Demacian Justice is invested, like I said. It's going to be a kill for Psycho Ghost, picking up the solo kill. Raynor had no chance to get out of there, but now Balmer getting run down by Ingrotus and Jellybean Jeff. Abscond Duck hits, but now Zelda guy getting jumped on in the jungle. As we see it, oh my god, Mitsu can't barely get the kill, as it was, I think, 1 HP on VGF Royal, escaping the Zac, and just beautiful play from the bot side. But I mean, in the roam answer, it's going to be the Vel'Koz going down. So again, trades on multiple sides. The Ashe again set further ahead, while the Poppy is set further behind, and that was a big shutdown given over to I Fear Nobody's Wukong on the Vel'Koz, who did finish first item, but did go down there. Now Jellybean Jeff doesn't actually have anyone to jump to. Oh, I think I Fear Nobody could have ran them down, but Ingrotus is here, steals the Cyclone, gets decent damage on them, but I mean, the Triforce Spike is so strong. Grotus also full level down, and now the Elastic Slingshot over the wall. It's going to be the kill over to the Balmer's Misfortune, as Jellybean Jeff pops the quickness at the wrong time. Quick, but not going to be quick enough to run away. As Balmer picks up a double kill, and Grotus just a bit too much aggression going into the jungle, not knowing that the team was already there from the respawn, and is going to go down. More gold over to this Misfortune, who was set far behind, putting them back up to parity, as well as getting, the Wukong more kills and more EXP. They fall further down against their lane opponent.
Yeah, and with Dragon spawning in just under 30 seconds here, I'd imagine the astronauts are going to feel really confident looking for it. So they're just setting up for it. Oh,
Zelda guy. Flash out from Zelda guy, but he's going to get routed by the Wukong. Nice tectonic disruption into the Lifeform Disintegration Ray, but it's blocked by the Locket. As we see here, the flash invested from the Vel'Koz. I mean, that is an artillery carry, no mobility with no flash. That is going to be a key target in this next Drake fight. As we see here, Jellybean Jeff walking up, trying to get something. Hits the flash. Oh, actually, it's the flash knockback from Poppy. As we see it stuff. The Elastic Slingshot, the less bounce is invested. And Grotus walking forward with the Abscond Abduct. Hits the Wukong, but is now, I think, bit off a bit too much they can chew. As it's going to be Jellybean Jeff going for the knockup, running back. Life for both teams blinking, as the health bars are low. I mean, Angrota's taken low, so is I Fear Nobody, but I think that's enough control for the side of the Banana Bandits to take this dragon. But on the top side, Psycho Ghost is just free farming tower plates and gold on the top side. I think they're going to be able to secure this tier 2 turret because Raynor moved for the team fight. I mean, that is so much gold in the hands of Garen. That is now a 3.5k gold lead over to the side of Astronauts, who gave up the side lane for the win and for that second dragon.
Yeah, I mean, ever since that solo kill that Psycho Ghost got onto Raynor's Poppy, you did see the Garen secure first turret, and as you said, off of Raynor showing up towards that dragon pit, Psycho Ghost is like, well, I see the entire enemy team. I have nothing to worry about. I'm just going to keep pushing. So yes, this Garen has a whole lot of gold in his pocket just off of pushing. You can see almost 2k in favor for him over Raynor's Poppy. So yeah, he feels great. You can see that completed Stride Breaker. And Triple Dagger, likely, I
think they're going to go for the soul. Oh, they waste the silence on a minion, though. I think this means that the Poppy can get out Keeper's Verdict Channel just for the safety. I think Raynor's going to let that get canceled, but I mean, this Garen is so dangerous. If he gets in melee range of someone like the Ashe or the Vel'Koz, I think that's an immediate 100-0 for sure. So now the fight, actually, I'm surprised there's no one answering Defoe on the side lane, as it's going to be just, kind of stare at the Herald get taken, losing money on the side lanes, losing plates, and the Herald still goes over the Astronauts. So bit of a, missed time on the tempo here for the side of Banana Bandits, as, they're kind of lost in terms of macro. And not able to catch the side lanes. Oh, wait, but now the engage onto the Ashe. The Cyclone is good. The Charm hits too, but I think VGF Royal actually trades back a kill on Balmer. Can they kite this out? The invest, the barrier, the invest, a lot of the healing from Jellybean Jeff, but I don't think that's enough. Jellybean Jeff now just going to get put in the Blast House. Oh, wow, actually flashes out at the perfect time. Oh, Zelda guy now on the side lane looking for Defoe. Hits the Lifeform Disintegration Ray. Can they get the kill there? I don't think they can, but Defoe did get forced out. Zelda guy also taken low, and Grotus trying to wave clear against 3 people here. I don't think this is the fight for you, but he gets flashed on by the Silas, and lore accurate Garen just drops Demacian Justice on him, leaves the Ignite, and gets the kill. But now Raynor now in a 1v3 trying to get the kill back on the Garen. I don't think they can do it. They're getting jumped up, they're getting slammed up, and they get crushed, and they get killed by the Garen on the second run back, as it's going to be another charge from the Rift Herald crashing into tier 2, and what was a pretty good early game from the Banana Bandits is slowly falling apart due to their side lanes just falling out. This Garen's just an absolute menace, and they can't deal with the Wukong.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks so difficult for Banana Bandits increasingly to play their game, and I think that you could say that this might be a slightly better performance in some ways, like than game number 1. With Ashe doing a little bit better this time around than that Sivir did, but really it's just the side lane pressure that Psycho Ghost was able to net for himself off of the previous couple of minutes, and then now once again Zelda guy does have a lot of Banana Bandits' gold, and without being able to have that present for those fights, it's rougher for them to be successful. Certainly it isn't the case that Balmer is going to be getting out of control on this MF, but the other problem is that Silas hasn't really gotten off the ground. Like, Ashe is somewhat of a threat, sure, but really no one's able to keep her substantially safe, especially in a situation like that where all you have is Rakan for most of the fight. So yeah, Astronauts, they're actually out to a very healthy lead, just short of 7k at this point. And you can see that this is already a 2.5 item Garen with that completed Phantom Dancer. That Judgment will hit really hard.
He's hitting very hard against Angrotus and just lures him again. Psycho Ghost is absolutely psychotic with that Demacian Justice. Angrotus went for a very squishy build with the Storm Surge, now going for the Shadow Flame. They have no resistances. They have no health really to speak of. And they're just getting obliterated in the 1v1. I mean, did you see how fast their health bar evaporated? Just, I'm not sure what they're looking for exactly with the burst. I think they have enough damage on their team, but that very, burst-oriented build means they go down extremely quickly to Psycho Ghost, who just pretty much got a full combo 1v1 one-shot and just walked out with no consequences. There's not even a response on the side lane that Banana Bandits can do, as we see over-the-wall Defoe hitting everything on the Ashe, who was already taken low. VGF Royal goes down to the Weirding, to the Between Worlds, as we see fighting here in the mid lane, and Grotus steals the Garen ulti, gets the kill over the wall with the Chain Lash, but I think they're going to go down to get smited down by the Wukong. On the other side, it's a 2v2, Psycho Ghost and Raynor scrapping it out, but now Zelda guy gets jumped on. The Wukong invests the Cyclone, and the Zac gets out with the Cell Division, and now Raynor can't get the wall stun, but they're trying to chase down the Wukong. Can they get it here? Jellybean Jeff maybe in range for a knockup. No, it's going to be the decoy over the wall. Zelda guy so vulnerable to the Wukong, can't really get the damage to finish off the Zac.
It's not fun to be an ADC in this game, I gotta say. Like, both Balmer as well as Royal just getting like hard focused at certain points. And it's really hard for either of them to survive. I mean, like, at the very least as Royal, you do have, a little bit of insurance in Rakan, but really no one else on the team is going to be there to back you up. And what we were talking about headed into this game is, like, how important is Poppy to Banana Bandits' composition, right? Like, Poppy is hugely important because you have 2 tools to deny potential engage. You have Steadfast Presence, and you have Keeper's Verdict. And I would say consistently so far in these fights that have multiple people, Raynor has not been there, right? Raynor can't keep the Ashe safe because the Poppy isn't there. So even though Poppy counters dashes, Poppy isn't going to counter a dash that she isn't present for, and the Ashe suffers for it. Now, granted, we're seeing that in spite of Angrotus being 2-6, the Silas is still fully capable of dealing damage. But as capable as Silas is, it's just becoming harder and harder and harder for these side of Banana Bandits to be successful. You see how devastating this Garen's damage is. You see the
the Ash ulti hits. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is perfect. The knockup invested, the wall slam, as well as Raynor is going to donate that one over to VGF Roll, but the TP comes out, and now the Garen is here. The flash out to escape him. Psycho Ghost now going for the backline. Raynor chunked down, tackled into the wall, but Psycho Ghost goes unstoppable as he gets the kill. The Stolen Cyclone into the Lifeform Disintegration Ray gets the kill on the Wukong, and on the other side, it is the Ash going down to the Aurora. The flash up, Scott Duck gets the knockup onto the Aurora. Can they get enough damage to get the kill? No, they cannot. It is again Psycho Ghost just dominating the team fight, and now the Vel'Koz has nowhere to run, flashes out of the Let's Bounce, gets the Tectonic Disruption to escape, and again, what looked like a beautiful team fight, they immediately killed off the Misfortune. They got the shutdown on the Wukong, and they still cannot win the fight. It is the Banana Bandits investing everything, and they can't get enough just because Psycho Ghost is so strong. 2.5 items on this Garen is, level 15, just, face tanking everything and killing everyone. Oh, flash forward, and this is just going to be another kill. Oh, and it's a tragedy for the Squid.
This is a game where, you take stock of the CC tools that Banana Bandits have for themselves, and, really none of them are sufficient to be dealing with Garen, especially considering what sort of lead that Psycho Ghost has. I mean, the best person to disrupt is obviously Rakan. Then there's Poppy, but coming away from that, if no one's going to stop Garen from just being able to run in on someone, Psycho, it's in a bit of trouble. Sorry. Yeah, and it looks like
that was a mistake, but Psycho Ghost gets charmed up in the backside, a huge between worlds, and it's just going to be Angrotus going down, and now on the other side, the Poppy is a tank, but goes down regardless. Everyone is papered to this Garen, and what I thought was, a free 3 seconds to eat my meal. No, absolutely not. It is just team fight after team fight, and it's going to be, again, the Astronauts just taking the jungle over. Banana Bandits have nowhere to go except down.
Well, Kevin, I'm going to tell you, somebody was able to eat during that fight, but it wasn't you. It was the entirety of Astronauts. And as we were talking about, right, the Garen is getting really devastating, but the Aurora is getting pretty difficult to deal with as well. And now that, 8K lead that was sitting there for a couple of minutes is now officially cresting over 10K. And the entirety of Astronauts are extremely well positioned to just be successful. And look, breaking down the reasons as to why this Garen is so hard to deal with. Yes, it's the Garen's own itemization, just having so much damage. This is a full damage Garen. Psycho Ghost is looking to build an IE next, right? The guy does not care. Right, yes, Garen gets a little bit gets noticeably tankier off of the W passive, giving you armor and MR up to 30 of each. Oh wait,
I want to be here. Caught out here, very squishy. The Wukong just jumps on him. Defoe hitting a huge between worlds, just exploding VGF Royal, who invests the arrow. A trade back from the Lifeform Disintegration Ray, but it's going to get to the Squid turned into Calamari by the bullet time. Raynor looking for the wall charge, but can't get it on anyone, and it's the Baron buff empowered Misfortune. The Cyclone over the wall doing big damage. The jump in from the Zac. Raynor trying to kite out between these gates from the base as they get hit with the stretching strikes, but there's no pullback target available, and Grotus trying to stop the push, but I think it's inevitable that Garen's not even here, as it's going to be the first inhib going down, the tier 2 and the bot going down, and I think this push is all but, ultimately just it's ending the game here, as we see the bottom lane. They don't even need minions for the push. 4 members on this bot side turret. Jeff goes in for the knockup, but it's not going to do much. VGF Royal finally back after dying again to the Aurora, and there's just not much Raynor can do. He's so squishy, only has 2 items at this point. Stolen bullet time from the hijack, but there's no return kills available. I mean, the Astronauts can't end the game, but they're sure as hell in a good spot to do so on the next push.
Yeah, I mean, it really feels like at this point that there's just not a single substantial answer that Banana Bandits have, right? Like, nobody has armor to really, like, stand up to Garen.
Psycho goes in a
Ghost in a little bit of
1v5.
trouble.
Can they kill him here? VGF Royal gets in melee range, and the bullet time into the plasma stacks gets it. They finally get the shutdown on the Garen, and it actually goes on a key carry. That is the Vel'Koz. Can they win the fight now? It was a lot of ultis invested. Raynor trying to frontline is very tanky.
Mid-lane is shoving in.
Not very tanky.
Bulmer's going for the
end.
end.
Oh my god, look at the base. Bulmer's just going to end the game if they fight over this dragon. The super minions are hitting the base. VGF Royal trying to get the stacks of the Rangers focus. The knockup misses. Grand entrance hits nothing. A huge between worlds again as the ultimate sends out the Wukong, and the kill goes over to Zelda guy. But look at the base. I think it's going down to the Misfortune. They get the kill on the Zac. They send out the Wukong. They get the Drake for soul points, but Bulmer is just wrecking everything. Can the recalls come in time? I don't think they can, as Vel'Koz makes it back. Can they kill Bulmer? Bulmer has to walk away to kite.
Damage.
They dodge the first tectonic disruption. Can Zelda guy get the kill? The Void Fisher doesn't hit anything, but
there it is.
Plasma Fission gets it. They managed to take out Bulmer, and what we thought was an inevitable end to the game is actually just the superhero entrance of Zelda guy, again saving the literal kingdom by making sure the Nexus does not go down there. Thankfully, Bulmer's still not strong enough to, just obliterate the turrets at this point, and they get soul point. It's not a lot. The gold lead is still pretty much 10k, but, a small glimmer of hope for the Banana Bandits before they lose this game.
A ward inside the base. Like, okay, they killed the ward. I was going to say, like, that MF ward, you do have double TP available. If Psycho Ghost and Defoe really just threw themselves in, I don't think they would be able to be stopped. But Zelda guy actually popped a plant, saw the ward, killed the ward, so no backdoor opportunities to be had. But as you said, right, like, not only did they stop up the MF, they lost both their Nexus turrets, but they also got Dragon, so they're at soul point. Banana Bandits, showing some signs of life, but that does mean that they need to stall out.
Groda's getting dumped on. The blast clone into the flash, into the death. As we see the life form disintegration rate actually kill the Garen. He's not tanky enough. Zelda guy has to flash out of the between worlds, but the foe still kills him with the weirding. And now it's a 2v2 support and top laner against support and mid laner as VGF Royal is trying to clear the wave. Wukong is there. It's now a 3v4. Can they go for the end? Elastic Slingshot only. Okay. Actually, it gets canceled by the Grand Entrance. Very nice Cyclone used on Raynor individually as VGF Royal is trying to 1v1 against the Misfortune. Flashes out. The knockup hits. The quickness is good. It charms multiple members, but VGF Royal's the only damage, and the Keeper's Verdict is not fast enough as there's no flashes from Defoe. He uses that to get out, and now it's a 3v2. Bear Nexus and Grotus back in 6 seconds. Can Raynor and Jellybean Jeff make the difference? Defoe walking for the Nexus, looking for the auto attacks, is just going to go for the inhib, and Grotus is here, hits the Abscond Abduct, but it's just going to be the clone. Invest the ulti on the clone as well as I Fear Nobody taken low, but he's going to do enough. I think this is enough damage from the Wukong and the Zac as they're going to take the Nexus and take us to match point. It looked a little dicey at the end, but the astronauts show us how to get to the moon. They send Banana Bandits back packing, and it's going to be 2-0 in this series. True. Wow, what an ending to that game. Hello, FPL viewers. We are back at it. Kebin Dunk on play-by-play, True on color, and the one and only Pop-Tart on production, taking us through this best of 5 series where the Banana Bandits are some sad monkeys because they're on the brink of defeat here. It's possible, but it's not untenable. They might be able to take it back in a reverse sweep. Let's see how this game 1 goes, as it's going to actually be Trundle top against the Ornn. Early trading, but nothing crazy here.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, nothing too shocking between both of these teams. You see that Raynor does have that lethal tempo, really just trying to leverage, the ability of Trundle to get that stacked up with the Frozen Domain, with your Chomp, you can auto attack reset. That being said, Ornn does have a number of tools to stay relatively safe. You don't really have to interact with Trundle if you don't want to. The other thing is that you are going to get relatively tanky. It's just that those extended trades really will favor the Troll if you allow him to get those autos.
Oh, wait, early exhaust. Mitsu is looking for the hook. The level 2 power spike already. They get the hook onto the gym, but they level up. It's the flash out away from the trap. Can VGC Royal and Jellybean Jeff turn this around? Deadly Flourish misses as it's Karma taken very low. The lethal tempo stacked up. Can they get the 4th shot? Balmer barriers it as we see the Flay back the First Blood go over to the Thresh with the auto attack, and it's just that level 2 power spike into the immediate aggression, netting Balmer the kill on the Jhin.
Yeah, level 2 push is one of the most important things that you can have in the bot lane, but Grotus might be coming for a punish.
Looking for the gank here, the Flay onto the Karma. Can they get the kill, though, on the Malphite? As we see the trade back, the Soul Flare doing big damage. I think Malphite's going to walk this one in. Balmer misses the Peacemaker as we see the ground slam get the kill onto Mitsu. Balmer's just going to have to stand there and watch as he dies there. Bowling Ball, ooh, barely misses Jeff, as it's now going to be a jungler 1v1 in the bot side. But now the Jhin is here. Can they hit the Deadly Flourish? No, it misses, unfortunately, as it's going to be I Fear Nobody, really living up to their nameplate. You know, just not fearing the bot lane at all. Jhin Snare doesn't misses, so the Lily is going to walk out scot-free. I mean, 2 kills on Malphite. The farm is pretty even on the bot side, so it looks like the bot lane is just, you know, a lot of kills, a lot of action, but I don't think it's going to mean that much for either side.
Yeah, not the most of ideal situations for Chime or Mitsu, as you know, he's currently named, to come away with that first blood. It's really rough, considering all things considered. But you know, like the rougher thing is that Angrotus is able to come down. You know, starting on the bot side, just comes down level 3, gets those 2 kills into his pocket, able to walk away. Like, yes, I Fear Nobody showed up, but ultimately can't continue the aggression because Royal has respawned, does throw out the Deadly Flourish to force that Lily away. So, you know, I was already talking about it as we were headed into this game, but this Malphite is so important for this side of a Banana Bandit. So if the Malphite is successful, this could spell great things for them, and 2 kills early on is certainly a path towards that. You do see that I Fear Nobody is slightly ahead on jungle pathing because Yu's able to full clear. Meanwhile, Angrotus is finally going towards that top side, but that Lilia just providing a lot of presence and a lot of pressure to make sure that the Jhin and the Karma, they have to wait for the lane to shove into them.
Absolutely. I mean, the bot lane push should be in the hands of the Jhin Karma once they, you know, push back. I mean, Thresh is threatening, but, you know, the double range should be a little bit more to, you know, take the fights. As we see here, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty decent freeze from the side of the Astronaut, sorry. But one thing I do want to mention while we still have a little bit of downtime is the mid lane matchup is going to be so important as, oh, Mitsu's looking for the hook. Nice Deadly Flourish to stop it. The hook goes out, flies, it goes wide. As we see Royal and the Karma, sorry, Jellybean Jeff trading back effectively, but still, you know, not able to get much done. Oh, but I was going to mention, Defoe had a great game last game on the Aurora, a bit of a quiet game, and I think Brand is definitely one of those champions that you don't see much in the mid lane anymore, but can absolutely take over a team fight, especially against, you know, non-assassins. You know, the dive is not super great outside of the Malphite ult for the side of Banana Bandit, so we're going to have to watch, you know, the mid lane matchup, I think, because it's just so impactful if one of these guys gets ahead in the team fight.
Yeah, I mean, still remains to be seen. I mean, like 2 kills is quite nice. Oh,
Zelda guy hits the root though, as he has to flash away, looking to dodge the Seer as he's gonna get ulted. A bot lane gank in return. Retaliation. Oh, the Deadly Flourish just barely misses there. The trap line is set, as we see on the top side. Level 6 hit. Called the Forge got into a solo kill. Psycho goes down a tank, still takes him 1v1. I can't believe it, but Raynor goes down. He even had the Ignite, so maybe just overstayed there without buying, and that's a huge wave getting slammed into the turret. Psycho Ghost picking up the solo kill and going to pick up plates here. Just not what you want to see out of this Trundle top early. Oh, Mitsu getting locked up by the root, but yeah, Mel's not going to be able to move in time. The Jhin has to, actually, he's going to choose to go back. They're going aggressive on Balmer, but it's a 4v2 here. Who gets rooted up? Angrotus getting flayed back in, and just a misstep, a bit too aggressive on that rock. Sometimes you need to play rock, but I think they just got papered because Angrotus just giving over a freebie there. Not sure how they're going to contest Dragon without the help of their team.
Well, I mean, the Dragon already went down, and like, or oh, okay, wait, sorry, I misunderstood what you were saying, but like, in that particular situation, I think Angrotus thought maybe I can just walk in, maybe I can pressure the Caitlyn a little bit, but you don't have ultimate available quite yet. So yes, you get hard punished, you get trapped, and there's really nothing you can do, especially because you are going for that early AP with what I presume is a Malignant. Zelda guy in trouble.
Guy getting jumped on. Pillar of Flame hits, a lot of damage, but he's kiting it out. Seer barely misses, but the Comet into the burn. Oh my god, Zelda guy died likely to the last tick. That is a tilter if I've seen one. Oh, unfortunately, man, overstays on the wave, and Zelda guy does go down. Fancy footwork, but Mel, I mean, doesn't die in Arcane, but they definitely died here in the mid lane.
Yeah, that's a tragedy. I mean, like, that's 100%, you know, that little burn from Faded Ashes really making that much of a difference. difference in that situation for Defoe there in the mid lane. Oh, wait, bottom lane. Jeff in a little bit of trouble.
Okay, hook hits, but nothing there. Oh, Raynor has the Ornn under turret. Oh, boxes him in with the pillar.
Oh
Hits
my
the subject.
goodness.
Oh, no,
No.
flash! Psycho Ghost plays a little bit too hot with the fire they're cooking, and I think they overcooked on that one. They're going to go down. I mean, lucky solo kill for Raynor, but that's exactly what you need in this matchup.
I mean, that's just really awkward because up until that moment, the Ornn is doing so well in that top lane. And what I wanted to talk about, why Ornn gets that kill, it's not really about the back so much as it's, being able to build the Bramble Vest in lane.
Oh, I fear nobody getting kited out of it. Raynor actually dodging the Q and the E.
This is weird. Like,
Bowling ball doesn't hit the pillars, but it doesn't knock him back. I fear nobody has to invest the Lilting Lullaby to escape, but the Ornn is going to make it, and Grotus hits the unstoppable onslaught, but it gets flashed away from, taken so low by the Caitlyn's auto attack and the Q, and now flashes forward, but the shield in time from the Karma, but Balmer's just fighting back. He just blasts him back auto v auto, and the Jhin does not win that, as now on the top side, Raynor dodging the bowling ball, but taken very low. Doesn't have TB to get back to this wave, is just gonna have to run away. On the bot side, VGF Royal had to, pretty good game 1 and game 2, but they're not having a very good game 3 to start, and no, the death sentence is going to be exactly that, but Jellybean Jeff hits him with the empowered Q with the ultimate, is going to flash away, barely about to survive, but the flash thunderclap does not get the kill. It's a beautiful barrier bait from Balmer, who survives the onslaught, and I think it's just going to be Jellybean Jeff going down here, as Balmer's going to hunt him down. Yep. Ace in the hole guarantees the kill, and Balmer, can they get the execute? No, they can't, because Royal's going to rout them off. I think they're just going to give this over to the Jhin, so at least they get the shutdown. This fight extends so long that the Jhin actually makes it back to the fight to pick that one up. But yeah, I mean, the Caitlyn is still very happy to pick up so many kills in this bot side. 4 kills now on the Caitlyn.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, with Balmer getting these kills early, it's going to feel great in this lane. You can see the BF sword in comparison to just the serrated Dirk for Royal, and things are going great for the side of Astronauts right now. And you can actually see that Mitsu is there in the mid lane trying to control the guy. Top lane, though.
Into the searing charge, it's a big damage, but Raynor's trying to turn this around.
Fine now.
Hits the pillar. Psycho Ghost has no flash and can't turn this around. Raynor just barely wins out in the 1v1. Trundle is the Troll King, and they're the king of top lane, at least for now, picking up that solo kill.
Yeah, and what ends up playing into factor there is that Raynor does have Subjugate available. Yes, there's so much armor being built by Psycho Ghost, but gets that Subjugate in, becomes tankier, able to sap away some health too, and that's just hard for Psycho Ghost to continue surviving, especially because of that lethal tempo. Raynor is just able to beat down.
No, Raynor
spotted out.
A bit too greedy, and I think they're gonna die here. Oh, flash shield. Actually, it's the flash Q, but they get hit with the Lifting Lullaby into the Eep, and Jellybean Jeff did their best to save their Trundle, but I think they're going down, and Grotus here.
More mana.
It only hits onto 1, but they have so much damage. They kill I Fear Nobody with that Malignance Burn. Big damage as he didn't have enough mana. Oh my god, Mitsu just kills him with the Flay, and then Grotus chooses not to keep chasing. Probably afraid of the Ornn, but is actually not there. So, I mean, there's chaos on every side of the map as Zelda guy, oh no, walks up a bit too far, hit with the Call of the Forge God, and just gonna get ran over by the Ram. VGF Royal losing in the 1v1 to the Caitlyn, I think, is just, actually survived there with the use of the barrier, but losing out pretty heavily in the 1v1 against the Caitlyn. Curtain Call popped, but Balmer's just walking out of that one free. No bullets hit on Balmer means VGF has to go back home. Pretty sad Jhin there.
Yeah, I mean, like, things continue to be back and forth between both of these teams, right? They're continuing to trade punch after punch, but really it's Astronauts continuing to pull away with their lead. Like, yes, Ornn has died, and like, you're able to get the shutdown on Caitlyn earlier. I do also want to say, Mitsu doing something near and dear to my heart personally. I love maxing Flay on Thresh, in the situations where you can, because there's just so much more damage to be had. Also, it makes your auto attacks hit that much harder. So it feels really good when it works. When it doesn't,
Thresh, he plays back in. Zelda guy who hits the root from max range onto the brand, likely going to escape here as Jeff gives him the shield. Mitsu now taking a bit of damage from everyone here. Jellybean Jeff in a dangerous spot. Radiant Volley trying to make space as Thresh is taken to about half health. Defoe taking to about 70% health there as Zelda guy's trying to trade back with the Q. I mean, Malphite started the dragon, but I don't think they should keep going. Oh my god, dangerous face check from Zelda guy who has to... Oh my god, he didn't use the rebuttal. He gets stunned up. Are they going to die to the Pyroclasm? They have to block the bowling ball. They're trying to run away. It's the Flash Pyroclasm going on to Zelda guy, but Defoe picks up the kill, but VGF Royal trades back onto the brand, and now Mitsu's on the backside, hits a 3-man flay. It's enough damage, but holy crap, a huge unstoppable onslaught. As we see here, VGF Royal's trying to pump in the bullets, but he just doesn't have enough damage as Balmer just walks him down. The AP Malphite has enough damage, but it's not enough to carry the fight, as it's going to be, again, Astronauts winning out, getting the second dragon in this game. Oh, huge Soul Flare onto the Lilia, but I don't think it's enough for a kill, and Balmer's just going to walk down this Karma. Yeah, I mean, you missed the Peacemaker, but the autos and the ace in the whole hit for sure. Hextech Dragon, team fight, dominance in the bot lane, 6-2 on this Caitlyn. Astronauts are looking to close out this series.
Yeah, I mean, Astronauts, they were just so well positioned at this point. Like, they are finding just so many advantages for themselves, and this Caitlyn is really starting to get a little bit out of hand. Like, yes, there's still that infamous mid-game dip that Caitlyn will still be running into, but just off of the fact that Jeff isn't doing too hot, and then Grotus here as this Malphite, right? Like, you do have the Malignant, so you do have your ultimate up more often, but you're also getting out-farmed, you're getting outpaced, and it's not going to feel all that great. That's an interesting interaction that we just saw from Zelda guy and Defoe. I did not... It does make sense that, Conflagration, the minion bounces can go back to you, but that's actually kind of hilarious.
On the top side, Raynor being very aggressive on Psycho Ghost, but Psycho Ghost has backup, goes for the flash auto, misses the searing charge, but Raynor has the subjugate. Can they turn this around in the 2v1? They dodge the Eve. They're trying to jump on the Lilia. Malphite is here, but Angrotus, nice flash ultimate, gets the kill. The Malignance damage gets to the shutdown on Lilia, and now Psycho Ghost is now under threat as we see the kiting back from the turret damage. Actually gets the kill back, and nobody dies on the side of Banana Bandits, but now Zelda guy and Jellybean Jeff getting run down. A nice block of the Pyroclasm with the rebuttal. Stops the play there. Deadly Flourish misses, and it's just going to be a bit of scrapping in this bot side between mid laner support and AD carry, but on the top side, the 2v2 goes to the Banana Bandits, and likely this first turret goes to the Trundle, so nice win on the top side for Banana Bandits, maybe keeping their series, their playoff dreams alive.
Yeah, I mean, they're still at about a slight deficit, just over 1k gold, but they are certainly not dead, right? Like, they've never I don't feel like Banana Bandits have ever played a game so far in the series where it's like, we're just gonna roll over and die, we're just gonna let ourselves bleed out slowly. They are trying to fight, they are trying to scrap and still find the advantages where they can. And then Grotus, you are getting outpaced in the jungle in terms of your clear speed, but I do really like this going for the double ultimate haste items. You have the Malignants, you have the Zeeks, and obviously because of how Malphite ult works, you still get the effectiveness of that AoE on Zeeks as well. So, like, if you actually take a look at that Malphite's ultimate cooldown, at rank 1, it's 62 seconds. That is a short cooldown for such a potent tool for the team. So Angrotus
on a Raynor, but Angrotus is waiting in the wings. Ulti is back up. They're fighting over this Rift Herald. Zelda guy makes it. Gets some decent damage on Balmer. As we see here, Zelda guy hits the root, but blocks it with the rebuttal. Dodges the Seer. Nice fancy footwork, but has to flash out of the Pyroclasm. And now Jellybean Jeff tries to get the snare onto Defoe, but he walks out of it. The Ghost is just so effective to get out of range. And now on the other side, Raynor is trying to fight this Ornn by himself. It's a 4v5. The Caitlyn is there, and the Jhin is not. I don't think they can fight this, as Raynor's just going to go and clear the wave. I don't know if Banana Bandits want to keep fighting this, but they're looking to position for it. I think this is just going to go down. I mean, it's a wet noodle fight at this point between Raynor and Psycho Ghost. No real right now without the gank, but yeah, Rift Herald is taken on the top side. Oh, Call of the Forge God actually hits. Can Raynor get out of this? He has flash if he needs it. Gets hit with everything, though. I don't know if he's going to survive even with it. He's going to go down to the ace in the hole, as it's going to be Rift Herald summon mid. The bot lane tier 1 was already taken down. It's going to be first turret for the side of the Bandits, but now Angrotus now in a very dangerous position. He's going to get Lilting Lullaby. He's going to get put to sleep, and now the Karma is here. Jellybean Jeff doing enough, and wow, actually there's so much damage from Angrotus. It's I Fear Nobody just going down instantly, but Balmer's looking for revenge here in a 2v1. Can they do it? Balmer is dealing so much damage with the headshots, and they're going to pick up the first kill. They get rooted up. They miss the Peacemaker, but they have the fully stacked lethal tempo. They flash over that Q, and it's going to be a double over to this Caitlyn. 9 kills, 350 gold bounty, and Balmer, who had a pretty quiet game. They didn't have a quiet game at all. They've had a pop-off game every game, as it's going to have to be me switching gears, as in the mid lane, it's just Zelda guy, unfortunately, caught out by the support and going down. But hey, on the top side, they got the shutdown actually on Balmer's Caitlyn, so Trundle picking up some nice gold there. And what is, a pretty stark contrast to games 1 and 2. Zelda guy is not doing well in this game 3.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the metal not doing too hot so far, but the Raynor's Trundle is still, relevant. The other thing is that Agrotis on this Malphite is still quite potent. I think the other thing, one other thing that I did want to talk about is that you don't see it utilized, too actively too often. But what really enabled Balmer to just get that kill on Agrotis so fast is that they were fighting Caitlyn in the bush, and Caitlyn gets 2 stacks on her headshot passive when she's autoing in bush. So that was a rare circumstance where you're just going to see those headshot procs come out more consistently, and it did end up meaning the world for Balmer to get both of those kills on both Jeff and Agrotis. But Dragon is spawned here.
Agrotis last corner over the wall, gets
position for it.
Slow. Can they get in position? A huge Pillar of Flame does big damage. The curtain call is activated, but Mitsu's looking to cancel it. Gets the play, but it's a steal on the Infernals, break into a 2-man ultimate. As we see here, Agrotis gets slept as Defoe is running away. I Fear Nobody also running away, as somehow, some way, even at a deficit, even with worse positioning on the map, it is the Banana Bandits who keep fighting valiantly, and that scores them the steal, that stops the dragon stacking, that extends the timeline just a little bit more for maybe for them to come back into this game. I mean, that's Dragon Pulse sole point stopped. That's a pretty big deal in this grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it stops up the dragon stacking, but also this is an Infernal map, so, it opens up the possibility of, potentially 4 Infernal Drakes, and, I will say, this is one thing that I always mentioned before, Jhin with Infernal Drakes is so extremely happy because of how the damage calculation works. The champion just gets so much raw AD, you become so extremely bursty if you can get those Infernal stacked up in your favor. The other thing is that for as well as Astronauts have been performing this game, their lead hasn't really been growing beyond 2K, and in fact, it's just been fluctuating between 1 and 2K. They're not really pulling away with a hard lead like they had been in the previous games. In spite of Zelda guy performing not too well, the rest of the team really trying to pick up some of that slack, with Raynor performing quite valiantly on this Trundle, but Agrotis just being able to enable the team so well with this Malphite. They're certainly not out of the hole yet, but they are showing, strong signs of life. The real question in my mind is, how are they going to neutralize this Caitlyn that currently is in her, classic mid-game dip, but, 9-3-2 is also still nothing to scoff at.
I mean, the one way you kill the Caitlyn, right? I mean, you use the rock and you click ulti on her and pray that she doesn't flash out in time. I think that's your one win condition, and I feel like without the Caitlyn, the team fight kind of falls apart because most of the gold advantage is solely on that Caitlyn. But now I gotta stop talking because Raynor getting jumped on by Ornn here. Call the Forge God, use the Lilia's moving up. A nice cancel with that Frozen Pillar. But now I Fear Nobody is here. The Subjugate popped. Can Raynor turn this around? He pops the Ignite on the Lilia, but now Balmer is here with the trap, with the autos, with the kill. Psycho Ghost picking that one up, and it's just a better collapse from the side of the Astronauts. They give up one on the top side. Banana Bandits lose their Troll King, but I think they're going to try to take mid lane turret in response. Oh, I don't know if they can get it, actually.
It was too healthy. It just takes too long. I mean, you have Malphite and you have Jhin hitting it, but
oh, wait, Defoe getting rooted up by the Solar Snare. Zelda guy doing big damage. The flash out is not enough. Golden Eclipse gets the kill first time, getting the kill onto the Mel, who's now activated now, and Agrotis trying to chase down a nice flash searing charge into the death sentence. The curtain call is activated, but it's not enough backup fire. The suppression, the suppressive fire from the Jhin does nothing, as it's just going to be the bullets shrugged off by the Ornn, and that is jungler dead, support dead for the side of the Flannel Banana Bandits. Man, that is a hard name to pronounce quickly. And that's going to be Baron for the Astronauts, which is not going to be contested, as they're just going to shred it down very quickly, just right after 21 minutes.
I mean, it's just so hard to contest, right? You don't have Agrotis available, and the enemy team does have their smite up. So really, there's just not a dang thing that Banana Bandits can do. They're just going to try to opt to push out the lanes. They do get that consolation mid lane outer turret. and now they have to get ready for the next dragon, but they're going to have to contend with a Baron up team. And you can also see that Psycho Ghost, level 15, those Ornn upgrades are coming in. He has an upgraded Thornmail, just upgraded Lilius Riftmaker, and already upgraded the Caitlyn's IE. And this Caitlyn 10, 3, and 4 now, like with that upgraded IE, you know, you're accelerated by roughly another 1,000 gold. Really hard to talk about a mid-game dip, which is going to hit this hard.
That's a dead Karma, a 3-man Malphite knockup, but Angrotus just doesn't have enough damage, and VGC Royal's getting run down. As we see, Angrotus is not tanky with this build. The sleep onto the Karma, the ace in the hole on the Malphite, and the burn onto the Jhin.
Oh, man.
The team fight just cannot be won in a 4v4 straight up like that. I Fear Nobi picks up a triple kill. The Baron empowerment on the minions. They're going for the tier 2 instead of... Actually, Dragon's not even up yet. They can't even take it if they wanted to. And they're just going to win the fight easy peasy, as it's going to be Raynor trying to run down Psycho Ghost, who's fighting back. I mean, Call of the Forge God is not active. Subjugate is, but Raynor just can't really kill the Ornn fast enough before the Ornn gets reinforcements from the Lilia, who flashes in with the Q, gets a huge eep onto Zelda guy's Mel. Can Mel... Oh, he doesn't even have the ultimate. Couldn't even get the kill on the trade, as it's going to be the Pillar of Flame cooking the Troll King. It's going to be mid lane tier 3 and mid lane inhib going down for the side of the Astronauts, as we see maybe they stayed a bit too long. Oh, Deadly Flourish unfortunately misses. Can they get enough here? As VGC Royals trying to sink the bullets into the fresh, as Angrotus does have the ulti, but the fire back from Balmer. He's on 3 items and just almost one-shots the Jhin. VGC Royal gets flayed back in and likely going to die, as we see the Mel go down. The Malphite hits a beautiful ultimate, but it means not in this game state, as Angrotus is sent running away from this base.
That's probably it at this point.
Yeah, I think it's probably it. Like you said, True, the Banana Bandits, unfortunately, are going to have to split from this playoff season. They unfortunately go down 0-3 in their bracket, as the Astronauts are just cooking too hot. They are out in outer space, winning the game with that escape velocity. It's just going to be farming at the Nexus, and Balmer, what an amazing game. 16 kills on the Caitlyn. He shoots the bullets fast, but this rocket goes faster. Astronauts win game 3 for a clean sweep in the first round of playoffs.